Welcome to SVG-TV's news for Saturday, December 12, 2015. I am Rochelle Batiste with the headlines. The New Democratic Party, NDP, continues to maintain that it won the December 9, 2015 general elections. At a media conference held earlier today, party leader Annie Musa said that they do not accept the ULP government as legitimate and that their legal team is already addressing the issue.
Our legal team will challenge these election results as I indicated them, and that will come starting Monday. Since my statement last night, additional information has surfaced. I did say last night the team was still meeting. When I said meeting last night, they were in a particular constituency still meeting and digging for information. So additional information has come up. Confirming, first of all, that there were over 320 illegal votes cast in the constituency of Central Leeward alone. And that is only in 2 polling stations.
Referring to a statement given by a presiding officer about the instances of 100% registered voters voting at a polling station in the contentious Central Leeward constituency, Musa said this is highly impossible and gives all the more evidence that there were a number of illegal occurrences during the voting process.
When you get 65 or 70% voting in a polling station, if it is going to do well, about 100% of the vote will pass from those 30 journalists is really a very serious matter. It can't happen. Now, you combine that with the number of persons and number of polling stations, we have about 3, where you have 100%, and you have over 100% of the people voting. It tells you that this whole election is a fraud.
The NDP leader said he is determined to give intentions a free and fair election and let their voices be heard.
It really is disgraceful that it is supposedly free and democratic country. And we find ourselves in this situation where we cannot vouch for the sanctity of the total when the general election is elections on the ground. This is a disgrace. It is something that we have to be ashamed of. Something we should be condemned by the international and regional community.
The right to free and fair elections is everyone's democratic right. That's according to a member of the NDP's legal team who was present at a ballot recount in Central Leeward on Thursday, December 10, 2015, focusing on the conduct of a presiding officer. Cummins said that having been in practice for over 25 years, never has she seen such a partial behavior coming from an electoral official.
Now, under the Constitution, you are guaranteed the protection of rights, but how do you get those rights? Those rights are enjoyed when persons perform their functions according to law. Whether or not they like you or not, it doesn't matter. They're supposed to be impartial and fair in the conduct of whatever they're doing officially.
Describing the surroundings at Layu on Thursday as a battle zone, Cummins noted that although the members of her team were being criticized for their presence at the recount, they did not back down because they were there in the interest of the people.
Because from the very beginning, you got the impression that we were up against the returning officer and the agents of Mr. Straker. Now, they were not there at the beginning of the purported recount. They were not there. The purported final count, by Mr. Gibbs. But they came in sometime after and immediately began to question whether we should be given certain documents. At one point in time, I heard Mr. Games receive a cell phone call and he said he would prefer Mr. Straker to be there. And not too long after, Mr. Straker came. And he joined the other 2 in making objections. They were making objections about us being able to scrutinize ballots and that sort of things. But it was virtually like a battleground. Not that we were backing off, but I expect officials to conduct themselves in an impartial and fair manner.
While the NDP is refusing to concede defeat, the Unity Labour Party is at this time holding a celebratory rally at the Argyle International Airport site. A political consultant and principal director of the Caribbean Development Research Services Cadres, Peter Wickham, describes the results of Wednesday's general election as very interesting overall. According to Wickham, the electorate would have changed during the last 5 years, where intentions would have died, gone overseas, while other persons would have migrated here to SVG, which makes the result that are the same as the 2010 election interesting.
I think each election, certainly for me in the Caribbean, I'm relatively young in this business. I don't have the seniority of Rennick Rose, but every election for me is a learning experience, and this one was a very interesting lesson in how politics can go in the Caribbean. It's the first election I've been involved with where the government has run and won 2 elections with the same level of popular support. And that is truly fascinating, that we have had zero swing, improvement in the fortunes of the Unity Labour Party. I believe if I stretch the number of decimal points, I would get some measure or some smidgen of an increase in support, but certainly it's historic for those reasons that we have elections being run in 2 5-year terms and the same level of support.
Wickham, who was a panelist on the broadcasting team who were responsible for announcing the election results, also highlights some other details, explaining why he finds the 2015 elections to be an interesting, as he terms it.
The NDP has lost support, and they need to start to ask themselves why would they be losing support, because an opposition does not lose support normally, and that part is also very interesting. Some other interesting thing are the return of Sir Louis and the fact that he has been able to win after having taken a 5-year sabbatical, so to speak. I find that interesting. And then the entrance of Camilo Gonzalez with a relatively impressive swing himself.
Yeah,
you know, an improvement over
50%
of the vote. Yeah.
And beaten, one would say by now,
season campaigner. Yeah.
In other news, Javasky Douglas, a 29-year-old laborer of Lodge Village, was on Friday convicted on 2 separate charges of possession of an offensive weapon and criminal assault upon Inspector Akeem Brown, who is in charge of the Major Crime Unit, on September 6, 2015 at Redemption Sharps. According to reports on the date in question, there was an altercation at a house at the Redemption Sharps where a male resident had sustained wounds to his body. Douglas was seen running away from the scene with a cutlass and a stone in his hands. Inspector Brown, who was in the area, saw the defendant, asked him to stop, and the defendant turned around, raising the cutlass at Brown, who said that he became fearful for his life, pulling out his service weapon from his pocket and shot Douglas once in his left leg. Douglas then fled the scene, but was subsequently arrested and charged for the offences. Douglas was placed on a bond to keep the peace for 1 year in the sum of $1,500. If he breaches the bond, the sum becomes payable immediately. In default, he will face a 4 months jail term. And the family of Alfonso Homer is once again appealing to the public to help them find him. The 70-year-old man of Korea, who is also known as Buck, was last seen on Sunday, November 29th. He was wearing a black and a red t-shirt with black track pants that has gray stripes. Homer is 5 feet 7 inches of African descent and is said to be mentally challenged. Family members say that he usually takes a casual stroll in the community, but they are surprised that he has not returned home for almost 2 weeks now. Homer is a father of 3, and his daughters, who live overseas, and son, who resides at Bucament, are very worried and appealing to the public to help them find their father. There have been reports that Homer Buck was, as he is known, has been seen as far as in the Provinville area. If anyone has seen or heard of heard from him, they are asked to contact the nearest police station or call telephone numbers 451-3566 or 430-9507. The telephone numbers again are 451-3566 or 430-9507. The 2015 SVG Christmas 9 Mornings festivities will get going this weekend in several communities across the country. According to the National 9 Mornings Committee, the celebrations, which were delayed by the just completed general elections, will now see 6 communities lighting up on Sunday evening. The first community will be Korea, which won the Best Christmas Community in 2014. Their program will begin at 6:30 p.m. at the Korea Junction with a lighted street parade and concert. Other communities lighting up including Cotton Ground at Big City Life Bar, a Gap at 6:30 p.m., Petit Budel at Village Square from 7 p.m., Union Island at Hugh Mulzuk Square from 5:30 p.m., Layu at the Waterfront from 7 p.m. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Botanical Gardens, as part of its 250th anniversary celebrations, will for the first time be open to the public on evenings with a special lighting up and night activities also starting this Sunday from 6 p.m. throughout the season. Persons will be able to visit the gardens from 6 to 9 p.m. with a variety of activities taking place, including an amusement park, a lined manager, and lots of local food and drinks. In Kingston, the 9 Mornings festivities will begin at midnight on Tuesday, December 15. The program includes midnight mass by Monsignor Michael Stewart and the Catholic Church. This will be followed by a lighted street parade around Kingston with the SVG Police Force Band, Boom Jam, and Steel Bands. At the conclusion of the parade, the Minister of Culture will officially declare the festival open, and then there will be the lighting of Heritage Square. The National 9 Mornings Committee says the various openings across the country are being done under the theme celebrating the real reason for the season. The 9 Mornings festivities, which are unique to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, will be held from December 16th to the 24th as Vincentians celebrate a unique Vincentian tradition.